Hello and welcome back on Just Be, my dear friends. My name is Hannes. Today you will hear the second part of the book, The Mysticism of Sound and Music. The Mysticism of Sound. So let us begin. Chapter 1. The Silent Life. The life absolute from which has all sprung, all that is felt, seen and perceived, and into which all again merges in time, is a silent, motionless, and eternal life, which among Sufis is called Zat. Every motion that springs forth from this silent life is a vibration and a creator of vibrations. Within one vibration are created many vibrations. As motion causes motion, so the silent life becomes active in a certain part and creates every moment more and more activity, losing thereby the peace of the original silent life. It is the grade of activity of these vibrations that accounts for the various planes of existence. These planes are imagined to differ from one another, but in reality they cannot be entirely detached and made separate from one another. The activity of vibrations makes them grosser, and thus the earth is born of the heavens. The mineral, vegetable, animal and human kingdoms are the gradual changes of vibrations, and the vibrations of each plane differ from one another in their weight, breadth, length, color, effect, sound and rhythm. Man is not only formed of vibrations, but he lives and moves in them. They surround him as the fish is surrounded by water, and he contains them within him as the tank contains water. His different moods, inclinations, affairs, successes and failures, and all the conditions of life depend upon a certain activity of vibrations, whether these be thoughts, emotions or feelings. It is the direction of the activity of vibrations that accounts for the variety of things and beings. This vibratory activity is the basis of sensation and the source of all pleasure and pain. Its cessation is the opposite of sensation. All sensations are caused by a certain grade of activity of vibration. There are two aspects of vibrations, fine and gross, both containing varied degrees. Some are perceived by the soul, some by the mind, and some by the eyes. What the soul perceives are the vibrations of the feelings. What the mind convinces are the vibrations of the thoughts. What the eyes see are the vibrations solidified from their ethereal state and turned into atoms which appear in the physical world, constituting the elements ether, air, fire, water and earth. The finest vibrations are imperceptible even to the soul. The soul itself is formed of these vibrations. It is their activity which makes it conscious. Creation begins with the activity of consciousness, which may be called vibration, and every vibration starting from its original source is the same, differing only in its tone and rhythm caused by a greater or lesser degree of force behind it. On the plane of sound, vibration causes diversity of tone, and in the world of atoms, diversity of color. It is by massing together that the vibrations become audible, but at each step towards the surface they multiply, and as they advance, they materialize. Sound gives to the consciousness an evidence of its existence, although it is in fact the active part of consciousness itself which turns into sound. The knower, so to speak, becomes known to himself. In other words, the consciousness bears witness to its own voice. It is therefore that sound appeals to man, All things being derived from and formed of vibrations have sound hidden within them, as fire is hidden in flint, and each atom of the universe confesses by its tone, my sole origin is sound. If any solid or sonorous body is struck, it will answer back, I'm sound. Sound has its birth, death, sex, form, planet, God, color, childhood, youth, and age. But that volume of sound which is in the abstract, beyond the sphere of the concrete, is the origin and basis of all sound. Both sound and color make their effect on the human soul, according to the law of harmony. To a fine soul color appeals, and to a still finer soul sound. Tone has either a warm or cold effect, according to its element, since all elements are made of different degrees of vibrations. Therefore sound can produce an agreeable or disagreeable effect upon man's mind and body, and has its healing effect in the absence of herbs and drugs, which also have their origin in vibrations. Manifestations being formed of vibrations, the planets are the primal manifestations, each planet having its peculiar tone. Therefore, every note represents one planet. Every individual therefore has a note peculiar to himself, which is according to his birth planet. For this reason a certain tone appeals to a particular person according to the grade of his evolution. Every element has a sound peculiar to itself. In the finer elements the circle of sound expands, and in the grosser elements it narrows. It is therefore distinct in the former and indistinct in the latter. The earth has various aspects of beauty as well as of variety in its sound. Its pitch is on the surface, its form is crescent-like, and its color is yellow. The sound of the earth is dim and dull, and produces a thrill, activity, and movement in the body. All instruments of wire and gut, as well as the instruments of percussion, such as drums, cymbals, etc., represent the sound of the earth. The sound of water is deep, its form is serpent-like, its color green, and it is best heard in the roaring of the sea. The sound of running water, of mountain rills, the drizzling and pattering of rain, the sound of water running from a pitcher into a jar, from a pipe into a tub, from a bottle into a glass, all have a smooth and lively effect, and a tendency to produce imagination, whim, dream, affection, and emotion. The instrument called jalatarang is an arrangement of china bowls or glasses, graduated in size and filled with water in proportion to the desired scale. More water lowers the tone and less raises it. These instruments have a touching effect upon the emotions of the heart. The sound of fire is high-pitched, its form is curled, and its color red. It is heard in the falling of the thunderbolt and in a volcanic eruption, in the sound of fire when blazing, in the noise of squibs, crackers, rifles, guns, and cannons. All these have a tendency to produce fear. The sound of air is wavering, its form zigzag, and its color blue. Its voice is heard in storms when the wind blows, and in the whisper of the morning breeze. Its effect is breaking, sweeping, and piercing. The sound of air finds expression in all wind instruments made of wood, brass, and bamboo. It has a tendency to kindle the fire of the heart, as Rumi writes in his Madhubani about the flute. Krishna is always portrayed in Indian art with a flute. The air sound overpowers all other sounds, for it is living, and in every aspect its influence produces ecstasy. The sound of ether is self-contained, and it holds all forms and colors. It is the base of all sounds, and it is the undertone which is ever continuous. Its instrument is the human body, because it can be audible through it. Although it is all-pervading, yet it is unheard. It manifests to man as he purifies his body from material properties. The body can become its proper instrument when the space within is opened, when all the tubes and veins in it are free. Then the sound which exists eternally in space becomes manifest inwardly also. Ecstasy, illumination, restfulness, fearlessness, rapture, joy, and revelation are these effects of the sound. To some it manifests of itself, to others when they are in a negative state caused by weakness of the body or mind. To neither of these is it a benefit, but on the other hand it causes them to become abnormal. This sound only elevates those who open themselves to it by the sacred practices known to the mystics. The sound of earth and water commingled has a tenderness and delicacy. The sound of earth and fire produces harshness. The sound of earth and air has strength and power. The sound of water and fire has a lively and animating effect. The sound of water with ether has a soothing and comforting effect. The sound of fire and air has a terrifying and fearsome effect. The sound of fire with ether has a breaking and freeing effect. The sound of air with ether produces calm and peace. Thanks for staying tuned. If you liked the video, give me a like and a subscription, and very importantly, leave me a comment so I know if you liked the video and where I can improve and make even better videos for you. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much, and then I would say that we will see us the next time.